Hey, good morning, folks. I'm out here in the pouring rain. Had jury duty yesterday. That day went all right, but I got elected for another case on Monday, so I gotta go to that one too. So Monday and Tuesdays that's scheduled for. So there's 2 more days out of my hunting season. I won't be able to go hunting, but I am out here in the rain because I'm running out of days. I'm at this spot where I saw a young doe walk by in the morning during the week, so I figured it won't hurt to just sit out here, and you never know. Sorry, I've been hunting in the vehicle a lot this year. My shoulders are getting worse. I was sitting there wondering why they're feeling so bad the last couple of days, and it's because I have to use the wheelchair to go up the ramp to the jury duty, and that just aggravates the living crap out of my shoulders. So now they feel all loose and fragile. I feel like I can't use them much without gonna tear them or something. So I just don't want to walk a lot with crutches and stuff, especially when it's raining like this. I don't want to get soaking wet either. But I'm out here right now watching this area. I'm sure you'll recognize it when I show you it. Sorry about all the kind of boring video, not seeing a whole lot of animal. Actually, technically, I've seen more deer this year than I've seen in a lot of years. For deer season, mostly does. I see a couple does in KI in a couple places, and then a doe here. So there's 5 deer I've seen and passed up on. Just hoping that there'd be a buck around. You know, right now is the perfect time. You let the does pass and assume there's going to be a buck following them eventually. Especially here, because the other 2 places there was a mother and a yearling, so more likely, obviously they weren't in heat, or there'd be a buck chasing them around, and a lot of times the mother will push the yearling away when she's in heat. So if they're together, probably have a lot less likely chance of seeing a buck, unless he's just cruising through and sniffing around. But when you see one like I saw here, maybe that may have been the yearling being pushed out because it was a younger deer. Then again, it could be in heat, and it could be a buck trailing it around. But so that's my philosophy anyway. I'm giving that a shot here. It's windy. That rain. It's just a windy day again, so don't have a whole lot of chance, but got a lot of better chance here than sitting at home. I'm falling behind on making these videos, but yeah, I'm also falling behind on days of deer season, so I'll make them up. I mean, I had one person complain on the video saying it was a waste of his 43 minutes of waste of his life watching the last video. That was a video that I showed some does on. Obviously I don't have all the equipment to zoom right up on and have perfect imagery of everything, but it is what it is. I'm hunting, and being disabled, you don't have a lot of those opportunities of being able to walk into places and sit where I'd love to go. But it is what it is. That's just some people's opinion. Everybody's allowed to have an opinion. But yeah, I'll show you where I am. You see, it's raining out here again. Had a young doe come out right. The camera's right in front of that puddle, right after that puddle. But I'm hoping maybe something will come out again today. To the top of that hill up there, center screen is about 200 yards. Right before the puddle was like 98 yards, and just a short distance after the puddle was 125 yards or so. So it's well within the range of this 6.5 Creed bore and the Weatherby Vanguard that I have today. We'll see what happens. The other night when I left here, coming back home, you'll see on one of my videos here, I met up with a big bull moose trotting down the road in the dark. That was cool to see. I was kind of expecting to see more moose out here than I have, but finally did see one. Didn't see anything coming in today, so we'll see how it goes. I just saw a deer come out of the woods way up past the 200-yard mark I have, so it's all in the brush. I caught it coming out of the right-hand side and going up the road. I'm not sure what it was. It could have been a buck. It looked like it was on the move, but it was too far for me to get a shot, and it was just so quick. I just got my binoculars up and I caught the ass end of it going up the road through all the brush. I'm not sure if it went off to the left or not, but I'm assuming it was a buck the way it was moving. Usually doe just take their time and meander, but he looked like he had a destination to be going. But something moving, I see something already. This rain. I wish it would come this way instead of go that way. I was out there, I don't even know, 250, 260 yards away, and heading in the opposite direction up the road where I wouldn't have a clear shot. It was all, I see that, it turns a corner, but I can see pieces and parts of the road, and there was all kinds of branches and stuff in the way, but I could still catch a deer going that way. But, well, cool, something's moving already, so can't complain about that. Okay, that deer was moving way up past that corner where you can still see part of the road, but it's all through the trees. You come out of that right hand side instead of going up the road, heading around that corner. But I didn't get to see it. All I could see is the ass end of it. That's good 250, 260 yards away. See what happens. I'm gonna run my bleat call a couple times. I don't know if that wind and everything, if deer won't even hear it, but if he's in the area, maybe he'll hear it. I don't know. I'll wait for this wind to die down first. It wasn't windy 2 seconds ago. Of course, when I want to do this, freaking wind. All right, here we go. All right, we'll see if that brings him in or something. Don't hurt to try, does it? Try it 2 more times here. All right, we'll see what happens. Oh, it's got another downpour, so I got the windows most of the way up, so I got a little bit down so it'll let some air through. But here comes more rain. Well, it is a little satisfying to see deer in spots that you've scouted. And like I say before, my scouting starts the day after deer season. Usually at that time there's snow on the ground, so you can actually see where they're traveling at that time of year. Because in Maine they travel, different places at different times of year quite often, just for food sources. And also once the snow starts flying, they start heading down from the mountains and heading towards the wintering yards and stuff, which are in lowlands, cedar areas and the bogs and stuff like that. So they're not in the same area throughout the whole year for very long. It seems like they have their spring areas, and then they have their summer areas, and then they have their fall areas, and they have their winter areas. So you kind of pay attention, and it takes your, if you go into a new place, sometimes it takes you a couple of years to figure out where they're going to be, because you got to pay attention to where the tracks are in the spring and the summer. Then you pay attention to where the tracks are in the fall and the winter. And then try and figure out where the food sources are. It's a big jigsaw puzzle that you gotta kind of piece together. But that's what I love about hunting. I don't, shooting something is great. Finally being able to get something. But I also work real hard on trying to get my rifles as accurate as I can. If you haven't seen me going through this year, searching for the right ammunition for these 2 rifles that I use for deer season, 3 rifles. I use the 30-30 for in the close-in areas. I use the 6.5 Creedmoor for these, 200, 300 yard shots. And I do have my 7 PRC that I just purchased and got all together. I'd use that for, longer range, or I also intentionally got that for if I ever get another moose tag as well. But I want to make sure I'm taking an ethical shot, a very accurate shot. So that's another thing, if you see like a deer like that, having binoculars and your rifle with you, it's better to look with binoculars, especially at that range and where it was. It's, it's better to see it and pass up the shot, because it's really not a very good shot, than it is to be aiming at it with a rifle and be stupid and take a shot because you're seeing glimpses of a deer through a bunch of brush, and taking a shot, which is, I don't agree with that, because you're shooting through brush, you're shooting at a long range, you're taking an iffy shot at a bad angle, a deer's going this way away from you at not a very good angled shot. So grab the binoculars and pass up the shot, and hopefully wait for something to come. Don't, give the animals their grace and respect about, not just wounding something and trying tracking it down and just spraying bullets at it. That's just not hunting to me. That's being kind of ignorant, really. I think it's far better to be patient, make an ethical, clean, humane shot, or don't take a shot. Simple as that. Give them some respect. I would love to be every animal just to drop in its tracks if I could. If I knew exactly where to hit it, I'd make sure my rifle was hitting it every time, and trying to take the most ethical shot. And a lot of people I see on YouTube videos and stuff like that don't do that. They're just spraying bullets at something, and I understand in Maine is, it's down south where there's a lot less land, more people, and, deer are more concentrated in certain areas. Yeah, you'll see 2, 3, 4 deer in a certain place, or you'll see them 3 or 4 or 5 times in a year. But up northern Maine, like this area, this is north central, so to speak, I guess, but sometimes you can go all year without seeing a deer during the day. Sometimes you'll see them at night traveling in and traveling back, or sometimes you won't see any. I mean, I've had years where I've not seen a deer during deer season, period. It's just sometimes that's how it is. Especially when you're first finding a new spot and you're trying to look for, you just don't see them. But I've been out here for 4 or 5 years now, and I'm starting to see where they cross, especially once the snow's on the ground. You can see where they concentrate, where they cross, and so there's going to be feeding areas and bedding areas in the area. And me, I have to do that because I can't walk very long distances at all and try and get into these spots. So I have to do all my hunting beforehand, so to speak, and after the season. And then I try and use that information for the next year. But that's another thing. Sometimes, food's concentrated in one year, in one place, and it's not there the next. So, what you think is going to work the following year doesn't. Then you're back to the drawing board again. So it's a learning experience, but I enjoy doing that. It's part of the whole system that I really like to do. Sometimes it's frustrating. A lot of years you're not getting anything, but that's just hunting for me. I'm used to that by now. You gotta do it for more than killing something. I mean, luckily my brother and his son already got some deer in the freezer. My brother got a nice buck, and my nephew Jameson got a young doe. So there is some meat in there. Plus Jameson got a small bear this year. So I don't have to, I wouldn't take a risky shot anyway, and I've passed up does already. But it's getting down to the wire, and if I have a good shot at a good doe, I will take it, because I can shoot a doe and a buck. And I'd like to get a good buck. If I see a small buck, I don't want to take it. It's like, you know, I've seen some bucks on my trail camera at camp, but they're just small ones, young ones, and I wouldn't shoot them anyway. And after all that tree cutting and everything down there, they're all, you know, their bedding areas and stuff are all messed up. So I'll work on that stuff this summer, make that a lot better place, try and make the food plot better and bigger, and see what that does. And I would love to make a ground blind out there, you know, a warm wooded ground blind, so you can sit in there and be warm, and in this weather like this you can still hunt. And I get that wood stove hooked up, and that'll be an adventure in itself there. But just waiting for this rain to stop again. Haven't seen anything cross since that one way out there. I'm assuming it was a buck by its actions, how it was booked it out of those woods, and it was like it was on a mission going up the road, and it was by itself. And honestly, when it first came out, all I saw was a white in the ass. I thought I couldn't tell if it was a moose or a deer, but after looking through binoculars, it looked a lot more gray than black or brown. And you know, the moose are taller and brown or black even when they're wet, and this was more gray, so I'm assuming it was a buck, and it could have been a big buck. I didn't see the rack, all I see is the ass end, and I just barely caught that as it was going up through the corner there, probably close to 300 yards way up there. But it was all obscured by trees and bushes and stuff. But it was exciting to actually see something. And again, like I said, it's nice to see that all my scouting prior to the season and after the season of last year, you know, these places that I've seen where there's been trail crossings are actually panning out for this year. That's good. We'll see what happens. It's been raining like this for a good half an hour. Pouring rain. We need the rain, so I can't complain, I guess. And awful dry. When I got here, it was 38 degrees, so if it was a few degrees colder, this could have been all snow. I guess end of next weekend, it could get snow. High of 32. So we're about to have a little drastic change of temperature. The rifle's sitting in here, staying out of the rain. GoPro's out there and get wet. Hopefully this stuff dies down eventually. Get back to you later on. Another thing I kind of worry about, I'm just sitting here as I'm hearing this rain hit the truck. So the deer probably, I mean, obviously they don't hear that sound when there's not a vehicle here. So when it's pouring rain, you hear the rain inside this truck, hitting the truck and making a kind of noise. Obviously it makes a noise that they're not used to hearing as well, you know, when there's not a vehicle here. So it's almost like they know there's a vehicle here because of this sound. Kind of sucks, but you gotta deal with it, I guess. Hopefully it lets up soon. It's been raining for close to an hour now like this. We need the rain, so see what happens. Rain's finally slowed down a little bit. It's been about 2 hours of pouring out. Haven't seen anything yet since that buck or deer, whatever it was, way out there. It's like 9:30, quarter to 10 right now. Fingers crossed, we'll see what happens. Oh, just had my first vehicle drive by. It's like a maroon Ford pickup with a cap on it. And of course it's raining again. It's like 11:30, quarter to 12, something like that right now. Haven't seen any of the other animals yet. But that rain, I think it's supposed to slowly subside. It's supposed to stop just before end of daylight, so we'll see how it goes. Usually this site so far I've seen deer in the morning, not so much in the afternoon, but maybe there's that was a buck and maybe they're starting to cruise. Maybe there's a doe and heat around here or something. We'll see how she goes, but raining again. Down to the last half hour, finally was able to get the gun out again. Rain calmed down enough. I haven't seen anything, just one truck. Size of deer I saw away first thing in the morning. Sucks about these rainy days. Sometimes they're real busy and sometimes there's nothing. As you can tell, the wind's still blowing right away. The last half hour, let's see what happens. Well, another day in the books. A wet day for sure, that's for sure. That's probably the wettest day I've had. It just rained like 90% of the day. It was pretty much a washout, as I say. I did see that one deer in the morning, 7 in the morning. And I did run the bleak call after that, see if anything would come out, but nothing would show up. I was hoping something would show up here in this rain. I did see one pickup truck and that was it all day long. So one more day this week is Saturday, which is tomorrow. It's supposed to rain again, but running out of days. Only got another week left after this, and 2 of those days I'll be in jury duty for court this time on another case. So that'll be Monday and Tuesday. So those 2 days are gone. And then this was to cool down after that into the 30s for the highs during the day. So maybe things will move a little bit more, and hopefully, you know, the weather will change. But we'll see. I appreciate y'all watching. Sorry I ain't getting a whole lot of action, but if there is not a lot of action to be seen, then there isn't. That's how it is. That's how it is hunting this way. Thank you all. See you later.